review for Warlock The Armageddon, basically Warlock 2 with Julian Sands. So this is a pretty good movie. Um I did think the original's better though, but I'm not sure if this was in the theater, but I don't know, it says box office, so I assume so. But it's pretty good movie. It's you know, a complaint is that it does kind of repeat the plot of the first movie, so um that's kind of a negative for me. It was a little lazy. He is gathering these, I think it's 5 stones, these magic stones, and he goes from these different locations to gather them, to bring on, that's why it's called Armageddon, to bring on Armageddon. Basically, the first movie's plot, he's gathering these parts of this book to bring on Armageddon, or to undo creation in the first movie. This one's to bring on Armageddon. It's very similar. So, that's a little lazy. But Julian Sands is really good in it. I think he's in this one a little bit more. Um, this movie compared to the first, I'd say this movie's a little more brutal. I would say, which is kind of surprising. There's some good practical effects. There's some good blood effects. The beginning of the movie, he's almost birthed, and it looks disgusting, but it looks really good. It's really good effects. It's brutal. The beginning of the movie, he's like birthed out of this woman. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. She gets pregnant and she bursts him in a matter of minutes. She gets pregnant, then bursts him. It's a brutal scene. He's like in her apartment. And then she has one of the stones. She's like wearing it as like a necklace. Then it starts his journey to get the other stones. Another stone is held by these druids who are very old, are basically immortal. Steve Kahan, R.G. Armstrong, Charles Hallenhan, I think Bruce Glover too. I really like the actor Steve Kahan. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's in the Captain Murphy in the Lethal Weapon movies. He plays a cop a lot. Captain Healy, Demolition Man. I think he's in Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, another Mel Gibson movie. He's in Scrooged as a technician. I'm pretty sure he's in Conspiracy Theory. Yeah. He's like a lawyer, I think, in that. He's in 16 Blocks too. So he's worked with he's a cousin of Richard Donner. Oh, he looks like Richard Donner. I was just thinking when I was watching this, I was like, man, does he look like Richard Donner? And it makes sense, he's related to him. So and the other two guys, I've seen them in stuff too. Not really Bruce Glover. He plays like a priest in this, and he's one of the druids, but he's kind of gone his own way, and he doesn't really associate with them or like them much, but he lives in the same town, the small town. Okay, he's in Chinatown. I don't remember that. But in Hard Times. Well, the original Walking Tall too, which is apparently a good movie. I've never seen it though, but anyways, so there are these druids, and there's this ancient prophecy about this warrior. He has a son who becomes the warrior, and there's 2 warriors, and his son is dating this girl. She becomes the other warrior, and Well, I guess before I get into spoilers, I like the movie. It's got some problems. I think the first has better music. I think the first is Jerry Goldsmith. This is done by someone else that isn't nearly as famous as him. And first one maybe had a bigger budget. I don't know. I mean, there's some good effects in this, so probably the budget's about equal. But they repeat the plot is repeated from the first movie. It's very similar. It's a little lazy. But overall, I like the movie. I think the first is better because of the actor that's hunting Julian Sands. Um, was it Richard E. Grant? I think him and the woman that he's with have a good dynamic, and just think it's better. This kind of focuses on Khan's son and his girlfriend, and I don't know. He's kind of whiny, and I just don't care. I didn't care about that part of the movie. Almost everything else in the movie I liked, but overall I like the movie. I think the first is better, I'd say, but it's still pretty good though. So to getting into spoilers, he's these druids. Then Kahan realizes, okay, my son's the warrior, so he does something really brutal. He just walks up to his son with a shotgun and he kills him. But then he's like reborn as like a warrior. So that was like, wow, that was like shocking. And but he doesn't do that to the girlfriend. I don't know, it's a little, some of the rules, I like the first one. They have these rules and they're laid out really nice, and this one, it's not really that. I didn't get that feeling. And but you know, him and her are the warriors, and he's training him but not her. I don't know. It's kind of odd, but and it's straight out of Luke Skywalker. It's like totally Luke Skywalker. It's like the first Star Wars. I mean, him and the other guy are basically Obi-Wan, and he's like training him to use his mind. He can like start fires with his mind. He can move things with his mind, like a baseball. Um, and to their ultimate showdown with Julian Sands, because they have one of the stones. He goes and gets all the other stones. One of the druids goes after him, and they like, oh no, like he went after him, and he has this dagger, which they say has part of the Holy Grail in it, the metal. So this holy dagger that you can, you know, kill Julian Sands with. And he goes after him, and he's going in this elevator to this rich guy's penthouse to get the other stone. He's like a collector of like art and stones. Um. And he's in the elevator, and the guy pulls out the knife and attacks him. It then cuts to him walking out of the elevator. The elevator's full of blood. That scene's really cool. That was well directed. The director of this did Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, Waxwork, which I've never seen, but that movie has a cult following. Prince Valiant, I don't know. So I think Steve Miner's a better director, but he does a decent job though, I think. For what he's given, I think he does a decent job. There's some good gore effects, blood effects. Pretty brutal, that guy's death. I mean, they don't show it, but I liked how they did that. The door opens, he walks out, the elevator's dripping in blood, guts everywhere. But and there's a few other scenes like that, like the guy that has the stone that he goes to after that. He like turns into a Picasso painting, and he's still alive, but he's like all, I don't know, it's a brutal scene. He does some brutal stuff in this. It's definitely like, man, he's so powerful. It's like crazy, like his powers. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And then he has the final showdown with them, and he kind of beats the kid up. He ends up killing his father and the other guy. But his father, the last thing he does is he pulls out this magic flask, and he heals him. He then has a showdown with Julian Sands, him and his girlfriend. And they end up beating him. I didn't really understand how, though. They like turn on the lights of their car, which destroys this thing he's summoning, this like demon. I don't know, maybe I missed something, but yeah, and then in the end, well, they're gathering all the stones, and his hand reaches up. His death's brutal too. Sands, he like turns into this skeleton. All of his flesh falls off. Whoever did the effects definitely did a really good job. And his hand reaches out as a skeleton and grabs the last stone. So, you know, there will be more, and there are more, but I don't think Julian Sands is in them, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I like the movie. I think the first is a little better, but I enjoyed it. Um, and yeah, R.I.P. Julian Sands, because I think he's a pretty good, intense villain. Really good as a villain, and you know, I'll maybe try and watch some more of his other work, but R.I.P. But yeah, that's about it. Check the movie out. I enjoyed it. Check out 1 and 2. I may watch 3. He's not in it though, so yeah, that's kind of I don't know about that. But like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.